switch to main feed there, you'll be able to see that like screen with it and then mess around with it. Yeah, that's.
Okay, so it's basically, there's nothing in there.
No.
As long as you
Yeah. So.
You don't really move much. Like,
Nah.
really just,
Yeah. Just like follow it how you would on like an NHL broadcast. Yeah, pretty much. Just make sure we reach all the far corners too. So just like if it's in this zone here or something, just make sure. Yeah, you're not cutting off that corner at all. Just like try and let the play develop too. Don't be too like quick to move it.
Yeah. Just keep the puck kind of centered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless it's in the zone, then obviously you just leave it in the zone.
Yeah. Don't touch it. Yeah.
No, this is gonna be.
You'll be good. You'll be good with
this.
this.
The thing is, I actually understand like what's happening. Like,
yeah.
Dump and chase. I know. I know where to look.
Yeah.
Like the soccer games yesterday, just like quick one for probably 40 feet out, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Yep.
Not expecting it.
No.
So,
this is
here. It's much easier.
You'll be able to track it good. It's not even that big of a range, so it's not usually that bad. Yeah, and even if they do far ice or something like that, then you can sort of like, I mean, obviously you'll kind of have to whip it across, but yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, just keep looking at this and that. Sometimes the camera will like, I don't know, unadjust on you, like, but you kind of just gotta troubleshoot as you go. If it like, I don't know, if you accidentally move it or something and then it gets like wonky. Be careful for this camera bit because he moves easy. The rest of these should be more stable, and then yeah, you'll be good. Just stay close to the table so you got a good hand on it. Self-explanatory.
As soon as they're on the ice, you're gone.
Some teams do. We're not that trouble, but something happens when
You just have to kill like an extra 50.
yeah, literally.
A whole new story.
Yeah.
Start talking about games in the night or something.
Oh, Matthew Chambers.
It's like a scrum in front of that.
I like this big cheese that we have
I
on
was
the
gonna
ice.
say, why is it foggy?
Can't really talk.
It's not usually foggy.
No, I don't know why it's so far.
It's cold, it's foggy. So they must have done something.
Yeah, they must have messed up the same. Like they oversteamed the whole section.
How do we release that?
In time.
No, but the ice last night was Hey there, Terps fans. Thanks for tuning in for our pregame report here before Game 2 against Millersville University. We are back at the Gardens Ice House on home ice. My name is Bailey Unchester. I'm joined by my friend Andy Parr. How you doing tonight, Andy?
I'm doing great, Bailey. We're back at the Mecca of college sports, and we have good Wi-Fi here today. Thank you to everybody who bared through our choppy stream yesterday. We really tried our best, but thank you to everyone who tuned in. And in case you missed it, the Terps won. Big 2-1 win over Millersville yesterday.
Yeah, that game was crazy. If you missed it, the score sheet does not adequately summarize just, again, how intense that game was. A lot of back and forth, and Millersville kind of came with an intensity that I don't think the Terps were really expecting. Every year we play Millersville, it's always a good game. So last night did not disappoint. As Andy was saying, Terps ended up securing that W 2-1. 2 goals, first one by Chase Wilson, second by Sean Amon. 2 veteran presences for the Terps coming in clutch, both of them in the lineup tonight, so we're going to see if they can put something together again today. Big story of last night's game, a lot of penalties on both sides, but mostly Millersville. They were a very chippy team who you can tell was getting more and more frustrated as that game went on. So don't be surprised if you see that frustration continue into tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And should this game get chippy like it was yesterday, Maryland has to capitalize on their penalties a lot more. They had 8 power play opportunities yesterday, only got 1 goal out of it, that third period strike from Sean Amon. It was a great goal at the time, but if you only go 1 for 8 on the power play, you're giving away a lot of man advantage chances. I'm sure the coaching staff talked with the players about that.
Yeah, so new storyline. We are back again tonight, as we were saying, also against Millersville. We've got, again, an interesting lineup out here for the Terps. Same story as last night, where the coaching staff is really just trying to find anything that works before our stretch of conference play, so you might see some new faces on some new lines, so keep an eye out for that. In goal tonight, we have veteran goaltender Patrick Adams, who last saw a start for the Terps against Delaware last weekend, where he led the Terps to a 5-4 gusty victory.
Yep, absolutely. Patty back in goal today. Had a lot of starts for the Terps last season. This year he's serving as the number 3 behind Jack Pharisee and Devin Brown. But he's been a great leader for both of them. He's getting a chance in goal tonight. He'll be backed up by Pharisee. Devin Brown getting the day off after he stopped 22 out of 23 in Lancaster yesterday. But we're in for a good one here.
Definitely, guys. So we have puck drop coming up in just about 3.5 minutes. So make sure you stay tuned until then, and me and Andy will be on the call for that.
Welcome back to the Maryland Hockey Network. My name is Andy Parr, joined by Bailey Unchester here from the Mecca of college sports, the Gardens Ice House in Laurel, Maryland, for the second half of this home and home between the Maryland Terrapins and Millersville Marauders. Bailey, we made the drive up to Lancaster yesterday, dealt with the spotty Wi-Fi, and witnessed a 2-1 win for the Terps. What do you expect tonight?
Well, Andy, I would be surprised if we saw anything different from last night's game. Maryland and Millersville every single year is surprisingly electric, and we saw that definitely last night. If you guys weren't watching, a lot of penalties, a lot of shots, and just a lot of standout players on both sides. So I'm really excited to see who's going to really bring that magic for both sides tonight.
Absolutely. When the Terps and Marauders squared off in this building last year, it was one of the craziest games I ever got to call. A 9-8 overtime win for the Terps. Brian Teskey, the one who ultimately got that OT winner. He'll be on Maryland's starting defensive pair tonight with freshman Eli Petter as we get ready to go here in Laurel. It'll be Cam Horan taking the faceoff for the Terps against Walt O'Connell for the Marauders. Walt O'Connell, a very emotional player, we found out yesterday.
Yes, very interesting to watch, so make sure you look out for number 29 in white tonight.
Millersville wearing white jerseys just one day after they wore their pinks for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. As we get set here at center ice. Puck drop is off. Millersville wins it, and we are underway here from Laurel. Back in his own defensive end, it's the captain Kai Dunnigan playing it ahead for Millersville. Immediately intercepted by Jack Hudrin, stalling up that play as Millersville dumps it into the offensive zone. Around the boards, Teskey sends it for Hudrin. Taken away at the point by Ben Bell, and that one's blocked back into the corner. Down low, it's Johnny Morgan trying to center it in front. He takes a shot. Good save there from Patty Adams. Welcome to the game, number 30 in black. Another shot from the point from Ben Bell. Another save for Patty Adams. Other way, Cam Horan has a little bit of speed. Horan gets poke checked there by Kai Dunnigan. This is offside on the Terps as we get a whistle. Cam Horan hadn't vacated the zone.
Good start there offensively for Millersville. We saw 2 shots from them really early on, which I don't think we really saw from them in the beginning of last night's game. Any of their real sustainable offensive pressure we saw maybe towards that second and third period. That's where they had their one goal of last night.
Absolutely. Terps outshot Millersville 48-23 last night. Maryland had 8 power play opportunities. That definitely played a big part of it, but the Terps were all over them 5-on-5 as well. Just a really complete game for Maryland. At the point, that's Thor Martin. First time we get to see him. He didn't play yesterday, but boy, has he got a fun name. Around the net, that's Martin trying to play it in front for Cranston. That pass is blocked off by Chase Wilson. And now the other way for the Terps, it's Pilkington. Tommy Pilkington through neutral. He's got Blake Warner with him. Warner now into the offensive zone. Warner takes it deep, tries to leave it at the point for Ryan Craven back in the lineup today. A little bit late to that puck, and Terps reset. Now Pilkington waits. Passes it off for Blake Warner. That pass is stalled up by Wes Kopcho as he'll try to play it into neutral. Sean Amon back there for the Terps. Plays it across for Caden Vogel. Up ahead for Ryan Craven. Craven will dump, and Schreiben's going to be the first one there as it goes around the boards. The other way for Millersville, this is Andrew Zerko trying to get something started. He'll play it behind the net where we see Jack Bell, who had an incredible day for the Marauders yesterday in goal. Sean Amon trying to get out of neutral again. Now it's Schreibman into the offensive zone. Schreibman leaves for Harnan. Harnan can't handle it, and it gets back into neutral. This one, it's got a little bit of pace, but it's right at Patty Adams, no ice. Sean Amon behind his own net, waiting for reinforcements. Turns it over here. Look out, shot. Big save there from Adams. Good opportunity there for Zach Slaybon. Patty Adams already has 3 stops in this one.
Yeah, you can tell that the Marauders are playing with something to prove tonight. Obviously, as we said earlier, a lot of frustration coming from them. Our broadcast was actually set up right above their bench, so we heard a lot of it firsthand.
Yes, one of the better angles that we get as visiting broadcasters we got yesterday at Millersville. They gave us their press box right above the home bench. Very kind of them. In his own end, this is Teskey around the boards for Petter. Petter trying to get it into neutral where it's taken by Grant Warner. Warner back into the lineup today. He didn't play yesterday. Across for Duchesne. He fanned on the shot. Travis Duchesne was 2-on-1 with Grant Warner right there, and the two of them just couldn't quite connect. Eli Petter resetting in his own end. Sends it ahead for Doherty, and again it's Duchesne. Duchesne one-on-one. Waits, takes a shot off the pad of Jack Bell. Stripped there by Doherty, and Duchesne's got behind the net. Duchesne was looking for Warner there. Couldn't quite pass it to him. Duchesne now on the near side. Plays it ahead for Warner. Grant Warner down low. Cycles it to the point for Teske. Teske down to Doherty. Doherty setting up the offense, going towards the front of the net. That shot goes wide. Eli Petter back at the point, across to Teske. Teske waits, takes the shot. That one's blocked in front. Rebound there for Cam Haran. Good save there from Jack Bell. Terp still dangerous here as Eli Petter goes back into the offensive zone. Shot save made by Bell, and he'll cover as we get a whistle here. 16:34 to play in the first.
Yeah, if Maryland didn't go for that line change right there, we might have seen more enforcements for Petter's shot, maybe some rebound opportunities there, but if you're tired, you're tired, so we get another offensive zone draw, as Andy said. Let's see if they can make something happen here.
Maryland back with the fourth line out there. Cam Haran takes this face-off, but he loses it to Walt O'Connell. Caleb Craven able to keep it in at the point, though, for the moment. Now Ben Bell plays it for Kai Dunnigan. Dunnigan trying to get out of the defensive zone, and he'll play it to neutral where it's taken away by Sarah. Kai Dunnigan with it again for the Marauders. Dunnigan plays it back to Sarah. Two of them playing catch as opponents. Now the other way for Millersville, it's O'Connell. O'Connell trying to play it into the offensive zone where it's stalled up by Haran. Now Caleb Craven's got it for the Terps. Craven deep in his own end. Ahead for Hudring. Hudring into neutral, taken away by Ben Bell. He will dump. And Caleb Craven's got it for the Terps. A little bit of fog on the glass on this home side of the ice here, so corners have some limited visibility for us. As I say that, this puck's currently in the corner. Out in front, that was going to be a tip opportunity for Walt O'Connell. He couldn't get a stick on it. Kai Dunnigan with the shot. Rebound, it's in. Aiden Stromberg. A perfect one-timer off that point pass, and it's 1-0 Millersville.
Aiden Stromberg just had that entire right half of the net wide open. Easy shot for him off a great feed from O'Connell. Millersville gets up early, 1-0, which is a different start than we saw last night. We have the fourth line, I believe, out here for the Terps now. You can see what they can do as the first draw is won. And back now to Patrick Adams.
Yep, Millersville still dangerous here, trying to play that one in front now at the point. This is Martin. Thor Martin cruising on the far circle, looking for Jack Cranston there. That would have been the exact same play. In the corner now, Chase Wilson has it for the Terps. Wilson lost the puck, and Jake Petticone's got it back for Millersville. Rakowskis back in his defensive end, playing with Sean Amon. Rakowskis serving as Maryland's extra skater today, so he'll cycle through all the defensive pairs as needed. In his own end, this is Jake Petticone trying to play it for Millersville. Lots of pressure there from the Terps. Puck battle in the corner, and Blake Warner comes out with it. Warner across to Rakowskis. Rakowskis a shot from the far side, save made by Bell. Rakowskis keeps this one in at the point to keep the pressure on. Jack Cranston's going to be the first one there for Millersville. Cranston around the boards, but it's kept in by Amon with a shot. That one goes wide of the net. Rakowskis still keeping it in. This is Ryan Craven down low. Craven needed some help there, didn't get any, and now Millersville might have numbers the other way. This is number 16, Aiden Carey with a shot that goes wide of Patrick Adams. Sean Amon into the corner, leaves for Ryan Craven. Craven up for Warner. Warner will use the boards to get this one into neutral, and Maryland change. Number 8, John Waters in here for Millersville, takes that shot, easy save for Patty Adams. 14-10 to play here in the first, 1-0 Marauders.
Terps aren't necessarily looking flat right now. That's not the word I would use, but definitely not able to really connect as well as they did, say, last night. Sundays seem to be an issue for the Terps, or Saturdays. Whenever their second game is, that's usually when they lose a lot of steam and momentum. So we're going to see if this becomes a trend here tonight.
Michael Schreibman now with some numbers. He's got Harnan with him. Harnan, shot save made by Bell. 2-on-1 opportunity there, and Jack Bell had the answer. Brian Teske recharging in neutral for the Terps. Teske now in his own end. Up for Schreibman, he'll tip it no ice. Back to get it is Connor Razak for Millersville, playing with Jonah Bird. Around the boards, it's kept in by Teske. Harnan tried to play it back for Warner, but a good defensive stick there from Andrew Zerko, and now the other way for Millersville, it's Waters. Waters plays it in deep. where it's taken by Bird. Bird facing some pressure from Teskey. He'll lose it to Teskey, and Teskey plays it along for Petter. Petter to Harnan. Nobody home on that pass. Jonah Bird takes it for Millersville. The other way, this is Slaybaugh. Zach Slaybaugh with a shot. Blocker save for Patty Adams. Maryland clears it from their own end, and that one touches the Millersville bench for a whistle.
Another close chance there for Maryland. I think Millersville's game plan here should just be to look for those open posts, because more often than not, that will be what is the key to beating Patty Adams. So they just have to focus on really getting their numbers right by the net and seeing how Maryland's defense responds to that. Absolutely.
You and I watched a lot of Patty Adams last season. Very athletic goalie, but we know that those high posts can be an issue for him sometimes. Millersville seems to have gotten that message. Andre Serra in his own end plays it into neutral, where it's taken away by Kai Dunnigan. Dunnigan was looking for a pass there to Justin Corelli, and he'll have to play it back into his own zone. This is Ben Bell for Millersville. That pass is tipped up and out of play. His face-off will come out to neutral. 12:45 to play here in the first. Maryland going back to their first line. Grant Warner, Colin Doherty, and Travis Duchesne. Against Millersville's first line, Walt O'Connell to take this face-off, and he wins it again. Deep in his own end, Kai Dunnigan gets checked off that puck by Colin Doherty, and Grant Warner has possession for Maryland. Warner was looking for Duchesne there. Big defensive stick from Aiden Stromberg. That one chipped in from neutral by Johnny Morgan. Patty Adams squeezes. No further play.
Yeah, a little ground ball glove there from Patty, a little baseball play, but easy save for him.
Yep. On this night where we see Game 5 of the NLDS between the Cubs and Brewers, Patty Adams living up with that little ground ball squeeze.
I haven't been watching much baseball lately. I have no need to anymore.
Yes, Bailey Unchester, our resident Yankee fan. She has not watched since the Blue Jays won that series.
No, unfortunately not.
Andre Serra out of his own end. Grant Warner now with a little bit of speed for the Terps into the offensive zone. Warner with a shot from the near circle. Another save for Jack Bell. Caleb Craven overskates it at the point, but it's kept in by Doherty, and now Craven's got it down low. Craven tried to play it for Warner. Instead it goes to Duchesne. Duchesne back down for Warner. Warner was looking for anything in the middle. The only person there was Johnny Morgan in Millersville. Morgan now might have a 2-on-1 if he hurries. Big defensive stick there from Andre Serra to take it the other way. Now it's Grant Warner into the offensive zone. Thor Martin strips him of the puck. Maryland's going off for a change. Jack Cranston battling with Caleb Craven here on the boards. Skates out to Jake Petticone, and Petticone will dump it in from neutral wide to Patty Adams. Andre Serra, first one there, around the boards for Body. Body clearing it into neutral. Now Jonah Bird with it for Millersville. Bird ahead for Cranston. He'll tip it in. Sean Amon there for the Terps. Amon trying to play it ahead for Body. Body facing some pressure there from Aiden Carey, and Millersville's able to get it back into the offensive zone. Caleb Craven in the middle of a long shift now. Ahead for Hudrin. Hudrin will dump it in from center. Did he get the red line? No. Icing here on the Terps. .11:03 to play here in the first. Maryland forced to keep those same 5 skaters out there. Caleb Craven now pushing 2 minutes on this shift, I believe. Face-off here won by Cam Horan. Back for Sean Amon. Amon looking for some passing lanes. He's got James Body. Body will get into neutral, but this could be icing again. No, it's not. Cam Horan hurries in as the first one there. Horan was waiting for Hudrin to get into position. Instead, Zerko takes it away for Millersville. Sean Amon plays it ahead. And now it's the other way for Millersville. It's John Waters. Waters was looking for Kopcho there. It was intercepted by Caden Vogel. Through neutral, this is James Body working one-on-one. Loses that puck battle, and Millersville dumps it in again. Amon around the boards for Vogel. Up for Body. Now Cam Horan trying to skate there, but Ben Bell's there first. Stripped of the puck by Horan. Horan was looking for Hudrin there. He would have had a little bit of space. Hudrin still keeping the pressure on. It's Kai Dunnigan for Millersville. Chase Wilson now trying to chase it into the offensive zone against Ben Bell. Wilson checks Bell into the boards, and now this is Pilkington on the far side. Tommy Pilkington down low. Pilkington waiting for passing lanes to open. Plays it down for Blake Warner. Warner scooting in, was looking to the point for Petter. It's intercepted by Zach Slaybaugh. Slaybaugh plays it into neutral. Teskey overskated it for a second, and now Eli Petter's got it. Petter plays it through neutral where it's taken away by Dunnigan. Millersville really slowing down the pace of play right now. This is Jack Wanshop with it for Millersville. Takes a check there from Brian Teskey. Millersville maintains possession. Blake Warner offside here. Chase Wilson couldn't vacate the zone. 9:21 to play in the first. Second line out there for the Terps against Millersville's top unit. Ryan Craven to take this face off. He wins it forward for Patrick Harnan. Harnan on the near side, cutting towards the net. Schreibman couldn't connect on that pass. Teskey now down low, tip in front, Harnan, big save, Jack Bell. At the point, Eli Petter was already in neutral, and now the other way, this is Johnny Morgan. Morgan facing some pressure from Ryan Craven, gets the shot off, pad save for Adams. Teskey now takes it for the Terps. Brian Teskey skies this one up high. It's touched by the hand of Thor Martin, so no ice now. Pressured by the other 17, Patrick Harnan takes him into the boards. But Jake Petticone's the one who ends up with it for Millersville. Petticone using the glass, gets it into neutral. Harnan touches that one, no ice. Working on the boards against Thor Martin. Harnan now, still with it. Behind the net is Ryan Craven. Around the boards, Rakowskis. Rakowskis down deep. Harnan back to him. Rakowskis shot straight away at the point. Pad save for Bell. Millersville clears. Rakowskis in his own end. Plays that one slowly for Caleb Craven. Craven pushes it to neutral. Was looking for Grant Warner. And now Schreibman's got it. Schreibman with a shot from the near circle off the shoulder of Jack Bell. Colin Doherty keeps this one in at the far point for the moment, and now it's pushed out. That was Aiden Stromberg for Millersville, but now Schreibman's got it again the other way. Back for Warner. Grant Warner pushes that one towards the front. It's blocked out by Jake Petticone. Around the boards, Grant Warner chasing it. He will win that battle at first, then cleared out of the way by Jack Cranston, and this will be icing on Millersville. 7:39 to play here in the first, still 1-0 Marauders.
Tonight, I'd really like to see Maryland maybe go to some of their players like Michael Schreibman and Patrick Harnan a bit, mainly because I think they are the fastest skaters for Maryland. I think that Maryland's biggest asset over Millersville could be their speed. If we see Maryland maybe speed this game up a little bit, I think that that could be what initially beats out Millersville, and we saw that a bit from those last shifts there from Harnan and Schreibman. Absolutely.
Terps using a little bit of speed on that last shift, created some offense. But Millersville now with possession, loses it there. Bad pass from Jonah Bird. Grant Warner taking full advantage. Warner's got a little bit of space. Warner trying to do it all himself, and Jonah Bird finally recovers. But only for the moment. Warner takes it back. Warner on the near side with a shot that goes through the crease. Caden Vogel keeps it in at the far point. Long range shot tipped wide. Kept in again by Sean Amon. Amon down low for Warner. Warner across, nobody home. Cleared out of the zone there. Big check delivered by Colin Doherty. Jake Petticone got out of the zone, but at what cost?
Oh, you can see him seeing stars right now, stumbling off back to his bench a little bit.
Colin Doherty laying the body right there. Brian Teskey back in his own end. Ahead for James Body. Body working with Jack Hudrin. Hudrin with a shot. Blocker save Jack Bell. Jack Hudrin, Maryland's hero last week against Delaware, scored very late in that game. Ben Bell behind his own net. Brother of Millersville's goaltender. Loses the puck there to Body. Body with a shot from the slot. Pad saved by Jack Bell. At the point, it's Petter with another shot. That one's blocked down in front. Still dangerous. Maryland is here. Cam Horan tries to shuffle that one at the net. Blocked again by Millersville, and they'll get it through neutral. This is Andrew Zerko for the Marauders. Back to his defenseman, Jake Petticone. That was Ben Bell. Eli Petter in his own end uses the boards to play it ahead for Hudrin. Hudrin back to Petter. Petter facing a little bit of pressure. Leaves it for Teskey. Brian Teskey skates around Justin Corelli and plays it ahead for Hudrin. Hudrin through neutral to Body. Body now into the offensive zone. Body on the far side with a shot from the dot. Save made Jack Bell. 5:37 to play here in the first. Fourth line now out there for the Terps. Chase Wilson wins this face-off. Tommy Pilkington with it on the far circle. Pilkington back to the point for Sarah, long-range shot. That one's blocked by Jake Petticone. Pilkington's got it again on the circle. Pilkington trying to move towards the middle, gets it across to Craven. Craven cruising in with a shot, blocked down. Friendly fire from Chase Wilson there. Andre Sarah's got it straight away. He'll take that long-range shot. And it's tipped into the corner. Caleb Craven trying to play it deep. Thor Martin's there for Millersville, but Blake Warner checks him off the puck. Warner now plays it into the middle for Ryan Craven. Loses that puck to Thor Martin. Thor Martin trying to find any way to get it out of the zone. Caleb Craven keeping it at the point for now, and now it's in neutral. Pilkington back into the offensive zone for the Terps. Tommy Pilkington using the boards. Gets it out to Caleb Craven. Craven down low, nobody home. Harnan now playing some support. Patrick Harnan can't do it for long. Millersville trying to start a breakout here. Taken away in neutral by Caleb Craven, but Millersville's able to change. Caleb Craven back into the offensive zone for Schreibman shot. Glove save, Jack Bell. Couldn't squeeze that rebound, but a good sneaky shot from number 22 in black. Harnan switches with Ryan Craven. Two of them get tangled up with each other, but Harnan ends up with the puck. Harnan, sharp angle shot, glove save, Jack Bell. 4:13 to play here in the first. Maryland starting to turn up the pressure on Millersville's netminder.
Yeah, some great chances right there from the Terps. We saw guy I was watching a lot that shift, Caleb Craven, who we know obviously such a great player for Maryland last year, still obviously incredible this year, but the point sheet has not shown it for him. But both him and his brother Ryan on the ice at the same time, which I know is very important to Caleb, and maybe that would motivate him to maybe connect with his brother even on a goal for both of them. That would be incredible if we saw that happen tonight.
Yep, second time we've had both Craven brothers in the lineup this year. The first time was that loss against Wilmington a couple weeks ago. Walt O'Connell into the offensive zone for Millersville. Tried to get that one across to Johnny Morgan. Good defensive stick from Sean Amon. At the point, this is kept in by Connor Razak for the moment. That's taken away by Sean Amon. Jack Rakowskis can't handle his pass, though, and Walt O'Connell can keep on the pressure for Millersville. Now around the boards, Patrick Harnan trying to get there before Jonah Bird. The two of them tangle up. Now they're fighting for it. We'll see who ends up with it. It's Harnan. Harnan pushing it through neutral. Ryan Craven trying to keep it on the puck. Ryan Craven, good defensive body there, and he'll take a shot. Glove save, Jack Bell. Great effort from Ryan Craven.
Yeah, Ryan Craven, who had been on the ice for a long time at that point, saw a last gust of wind from him as he now hops back on the bench with the rest of his line for a change. But again, another good minute back there of Terps offensive pressure.
Maryland back with their first line out on the ice. Grant Warner wins this face-off to the point for Eli Petter. Petter playing catch with Duchesne. He'll take the shot here. That one goes wide at Bell. Warner with a wraparound attempt. It's in! Grant Warner! A sneaky wraparound, and Maryland's tied it.
That was just an impressive showing there from Grant Warner. You know, he is the type of guy who would try and pull a wraparound out, and he succeeded. Looks like Jackson Bell just kind of overcommitted a little bit too much to his right there, and Grant Warner was able to capitalize.
Yep, Grant Warner, one of Maryland's many freshmen this season. Boy, has he made a great first impression in his first month with the team. Already up to, I believe, 3 goals this season for the Terps. Now into the offensive zone, Eli Petter loses it to Wes Kopcho. Kopcho playing it to Kai Dunnigan. Back over to Ben Bell. Bell and Dunnigan playing catch and neutral. This is John Waters for Millersville into the offensive zone. Shot there, blocked by Teskey, and now Doherty's out the other way. Colin Doherty picking up some speed. Gets defended well there by Ben Bell. But Bell can't hold it as it's taken away by Hudrin. Just got the announcement in arena of Grant Warner's goal right there. I believe they called it unassisted, but may give one to Travis Duchesne upon watching some replay. Oh, he did say Travis?
Yeah.
All right. Travis Duchesne credited with the assist there, as he should. Jack Hudron on the far side into the middle for Body. Body loses that one as he falls down. Lost some footing there. Justin Corelli tries to dump it into the zone, but Caleb Craven blocks that dump. At the point, it's taken away by James Body. Body checked there by Aiden Carey. Body still with the puck in the offensive zone, though. Only for the moment, as Jake Petticone now's got it for Millersville. Petticone dumps it in from the red line off the pad of Patty Adams. Andre Serra behind his own net. Waiting for some reinforcements. That one gets tipped by Cam Horan, and it'll force Millersville to retreat. Jake Petticone working with Thor Martin. Martin through center, only gets as far as Andre Serra. Serra the other way for the Terps. Serra 1-on-2 takes that shot. Stick save for Jack Bell. Terps will change. Down to 1:15 to play here in the first. Caleb Craven working in neutral, loses that battle with Johnny Morgan, and now Millersville has some speed the other way. Morgan waiting for a pass, couldn't get it there. Good poke from Patty Adams. Now at the point, this is Stromberg, long-range shot blocked by Caleb Craven. Down low, it's Morgan. Johnny Morgan, that pass skips over Walt O'Connell's stick, and Sean Amon can play it out into neutral. Drifting below a minute here in the first. Still tied 1 apiece. Thor Martin out of his defensive zone, can't get it past Blake Warner. Warner stripped of the puck there by Aiden Stromberg, who tries to hit Johnny Martin for that stretch pass, couldn't connect there. Back in neutral, it's Pilkington. Loses it to Petticone. Petticone trying to enter the offensive zone for Millersville. He will right there, but now he needs a change. Deep in his own end, it's Sean Amon around the boards for Pilkington. Pilkington can't handle it. Amon has it back again, working against Walt O'Connell. Very dangerously in front of Maryland's net there. Luckily, no Millersville players in sight. That one dumped in from neutral by Jonah Bird off the pad of Patty Adams. 5 seconds to go here in period 1. Tommy Pilkington will sky this, and that's the first period in the books here from the Gardens Ice House. We're tied 1-1.
Yeah, good period there from Maryland, I'd say. Not the strongest start that we have seen from them, but as the score sheet says, we are tied 1-1 currently. So we're going to see if they can maybe turn up the Jets a bit next period. We're going to see if we can do a mid-game interview for you guys. We're going to see if we can find anyone. So keep your TV on in the background if you're going to go get a snack or something. And we will see you, if not then, for Puck Drop in just a few minutes after that.
Absolutely. We'll be back on the Maryland Hockey Network in about 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Hey there, Terps fans. Thanks for sticking around here for my mid-game report in between the first and the second period. My name's Bailey Unchester. I'm here with my friend James Roms. How you doing tonight, James?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Thanks for asking. And James was in our lineup yesterday at our away game against Millersville. If you guys tuned in for that one and heard us talking about it on the broadcast, definitely another crazy game. 2-1 win for you guys. That was good for you?
Yeah, it was great. We had a really gritty performance. It was not going to be a pretty one yesterday because it was just very physical, very chippy, and we knew that we weren't going to get pretty goals. We haven't been getting that many pretty goals, so it was great to have a hard-fought game and come out on the right side this time.
Yeah, and we were positioned, our broadcast booth, right above the Millersville bench, and we heard some things that we can't repeat on camera from them, but I don't know if you kind of got the same feeling from them on the ice.
Yeah, I had the same feeling. They were talking a lot. Every face-off, they were saying some stuff and trying to get calls. There was a lot of calls during the game, too, penalties, and I think that's just what really sparked the chippiness and all of that, too.
Yeah, and you got some second-line minutes last night there with I believe we said Tommy Pilkington and Travis Duchesne, a big age range between you guys. Yeah. You, Tommy, Travis, I mean, just what's it like kind of being, you're, what, 18, 19? 19. Travis is 24, 25, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, does that affect communication at all, or no, you're still all good?
I mean, I like having Travis around, like good veteran leadership. I would say we're both Detroit Lions fans, so we're able to get along in that sense. And then Tommy, he's a freshman too, and he's able to work hard, and I love the way he plays. So I kind of like the balance, even though there's a big age gap there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of club hockey. You find friends of all ages. And kind of moving on to tonight's game, we've seen a period of it so far, 1-1. How do you think Terps are going to fare for the rest of it?
Well, I'm actually doing the scorecard right now, and I know we're winning in the shot category, so we got to keep doing that. I think the best way we can, or the best chance we can have in this game is to limit the high danger chances, keep the shots from the outside, and continue to just keep going and trust the process, because when we get our bounces, we just got to believe they'll go in.
Yeah, is there any of your teammates that are standing out to you on the ice tonight?
Well, obviously Grant had the goal. I've noticed he's gotten a lot of shots, but honestly, James' body to me has stood out as a guy who has been getting more shots on net, and he's gotten rewarded. Coach told him that he got pulled up to the third line or whatever, and he's been playing well, so he's been standing out to me.
Yeah, definitely. Body was on the interview with us a few weekends ago. Good guy, president of the team too, and we're going to see if maybe he can put one in the back of the net as the second and third period pick up in just a few minutes. We have puck drop in, clock says 4 minutes from now. So James, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Glad to have you. Terps fans love hearing that inside information. And guys, stay tuned. We got puck drop coming shortly.
Oh no, so the mics are still hot now, but like we just don't put them on.
That's fun.
Having such close proximity. He's not the only one. No, probably not.
First win of the season. In the book. Hey, 2-goal game for Purple.
Yeah, like, clear and hot.
Yeah.
The guy in goal tonight, I'm like, when we can see him. Who are you playing this week?
I'm playing Hannah.
How many teams or how many people you got in there?
We have 10.
Yeah. We kind of put it together very last minute.
We did it on the bus ride back from Wilmington.
Like right before the season.
Yeah, right before the season started. Because he probably had a win. Yeah,
What you're telling me is I gotta co-manage my dad's fantasy team so I can get a hang of it.
Yeah. You gotta get ahead of the curve now.
The best strategy for fantasy is to not prepare at all.
And then just kind of wing it.
Yeah.
I have 3 fantasy football leagues. I run them all. I'm big on that, so.
Jalen Hurts still did okay for us.
Yeah, no, he didn't play bad.
Push push.
Yeah, that's what got
Hit
it.
him 4 in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not somebody who's, like, all banned the tush push, but that was hard to watch.
Especially because 3 of them had false starts.
Yeah, exactly. I was watching the replays, and I'm like, if they officiate it properly, it's not an unfair play. Like,
I go main feed now.
yeah. So now you do main feed, and then period. 5 seconds. Yep. Welcome back to the Maryland Hockey Network for this second period of play here from Laurel. My name's Andy Parr, joined by Bailey Unchester. We have a tie game here between the Maryland Terrapins and the visiting Millersville Marauders, 1-1 after 1.
We saw definitely a very evenly played period last period between both sides. No one really kind of stood out to me necessarily in terms of who had the most zone time. We saw some good pushes from both teams throughout that period. Maryland ended up getting on the board late in the first with a nice wraparound goal from Grant Warner.
Yeah, absolutely. Grant Warner saw Jack Bell overcommit a little bit on that far post, and he snuck that wraparound inside the pad to tie the game. His 3rd goal on this young season. Great first impressions from the younger Warner brother in his first season as a Terp. Maryland will start with their 4th line for this opening faceoff. Millersville puts out their first. Walt O'Connell versus Chase Wilson at the dot, and Wilson wins it. We're underway here in the second. Eli Petter tries to play it through neutral, and we get an immediate whistle as that one skips into the penalty box.
James Romps fetches the puck, who we just had on the interview in between. If you checked out our mid-game report, gave us some really good insight on just kind of what it's like to be on the ice for the Terps here.
Yeah, James Romps, one of the more fun intermission interviews that I've been able to hear this season. Gave some, as Bailey said, good insight as to what it was like being on the ice for that Terp squad yesterday and playing with such a veteran like Travis Duchesne. Eli Petter loses that one, and now look out here, Aiden Stromberg with a little bit of speed, and the puck gets stuck. The puck stopped moving, must have hit a wet patch on the ice right there, and Maryland catches a break. Tommy Pilkington the other way for the Terps. Pilkington for Warner with a shot. Good one-timer save there by Jack Bell. Great setup from the Terps there. Blake Warner trying to do what his brother did in the first. Blake Warner now out to the point. Plays it down low for Caleb Craven. Craven dangles around Ben Bell. Craven waits on the far circle. Across inside off the post. Tommy Pilkington couldn't finish it off. A beautiful pass from Caleb Craven, and Tommy Pilkington was inches away from his first goal as a Terp. Caleb Craven checked into the boards there by Johnny Morgan. Morgan now in the offensive zone for Millersville. Johnny Morgan sends that one towards the front, saved by Adams. Rebound was loose for a second. Caleb Craven clears it, and it gets out to neutral. Kai Dunnigan dumps it in for Millersville. Dunnigan around the boards for Zerko. He can't handle it, but back to the point. Shot there off the blocker, Patty Adams. Zerko with it again. Inside. Fanned on the shot there. That was John Waters. Wes Kopcho jams that one wide. Millersville starting to get some good looks here. That one bouncing in front dangerously. Kopcho never got a clean shot off. Ryan Craven trying to get it out of the corner there. He will. Ryan Craven through neutral, playing it ahead for Schreibman. Schreibman, he's got a little bit of speed if he can handle it. It gets to the red line. Schreibman now around the offensive zone to the point for Caden Vogel. Vogel trying to play it in past Thor Martin. He's not able to, and Maryland will have to retreat to center. Sean Amon in his own end. Some run-and-gun hockey to start this second period. Kai Dunnigan trying to get it the other way for Millersville. He finds John Waters. Waters skating into the offensive zone. Will take a shot. Glove save there. Patty Adams. He squeezes. We finally get a break. 7:44 to play here in the second.
Yeah, good glove there from Patty. But as Andy said, a lot of back and forth for this first start. We have definitely a different start than we saw to our first period. A lot more intensity from both squads right off the bat.
Right off the face-off, Connor Razak with a shot that was blocked by Caden Vogel. Harnan the other way for the Terps, working with Schreibman. Harnan on the far side, waits across. Schreibman with a shot that's saved by Jack Bell. He covers, and Ryan Craven will give some shoves after the whistle.
That's just as I was saying in the first period. If you guys heard that, I said that I wanted to see Maryland sort of go to players like Patrick Harnan and Michael Schreibman a lot due to their speed primarily, because I think that they are a faster team than Millersville, and I think that our speed are going to be our biggest asset in tonight's game.
Connor Razak trying to get that one into neutral. It's taken away by Sean Amon. Working on the boards, Amon still got it. Plays ahead for Grant Warner, but that was a hand pass. We'll have to reset. Sean Amon trying to settle down that puck. Instead, he gloves it forward to Grant Warner. Hand pass brings it back out into neutral. Warner loses this face-off to Justin Corelli, and Millersville's out the other way. Behind his own net, it's Sean Amon around the boards. And now Grant Warner couldn't get it past Jonah Bird, but Sean Amon's able to. And now Millersville dumps it back in. This is Jack Wanshop with it deep for the Marauders. Wanshop now on the far side. Loses it to Duchesne. Duchesne pushes it to neutral, but Razak's there. For Millersville, he'll send it right on Patty Adams. Wanshop sending it, trying to get it towards the net. Taken away again by the Terps, and they'll play it back into neutral. Grant Warner intercepts that pass. Warner couldn't dangle it around. That was Jonah Bird right there, and he's going the other way. Jonah Bird with a shot that's blocked by Sean Amon. Millersville back in neutral again. Thor Martin dumping it in this time. Caden Vogel ahead for Warner. Grant Warner sends it through neutral off the stick of Jack Hudrin as he needs a change. Hudrin will chase Jake Petticone. Petticone lost the handle on that puck for a moment. Ice looking a little rough here for Millersville as they have lost handles on a few clean pucks, and they ice this one the full length of the ice. And Maryland will get an offensive zone draw here.
Yeah, you don't typically hear about the conditions at the Gardens Ice House being too terrible. I think this is one of the better sheets of ice that you will find in club hockey. But as we were discussing earlier, maybe a little problem with the Zamboni tonight, as we saw some fog to start this game. Looks like they maybe oversteamed the ice or something like that, so we might see a few more wet patches than normal.
Yep, Jack Hudrin, after this face-off win, has it deep for the Terps. Hudrin played it around the boards, nobody home. James Body's going to have to chase. He doesn't win the race, and now Walt O'Connell's got speed the other way. Good defensive stick from Brian Teskey to break up that 2-on-1. Cam Horan dumps it in from center. James Body's first one there. Body playing it towards the front. Brian Teskey has it now at the far point. Teskey loses the puck there, and now it's a 2-on-1 for Millersville. Walt O'Connell with Aiden Stromberg. O'Connell shot, glove save, Patty Adams.
Patty Adams saves the day for the Terps there. You could tell that Jack Rakowskis wasn't really sure what to do, being the only one, kind of looking at both Marauders kind of pushing that net there. Really the last line of defense, Patty Adams, we kind of knew it was going to come to that, and a beautiful glove from him. If only he was as good at fantasy hockey as he is at normal hockey, because I'm currently beating him by 20 points in our Terps Hockey Fantasy League.
Yeah, Patty Adams off to a rough start to the season against Bailey in our Terps Hockey Fantasy Hockey League.
We'll give you guys updates on that week by week. I'm sure you will be enthralled to see how this one goes. Got about 10 people in that.
Yes, I'm currently losing to our social media specialist, Anna Dalbora.
Get better.
Tommy Pilkington in the offensive zone for the Terps. Leaves it for Craven, who plays it in deep, but Kai Dunnigan's there for Millersville. Dunnigan ahead for Kopcho. Kopcho can't get it past Sarah. Sarah plays it down low for Warner. It bounces over his stick. And now Ben Bell has it for the Marauders. Andrew Zerko clears it into neutral. Andre Serra's there. Andre Serra starting to break out for the Terps. Blake Warner can't handle that pass, and Millersville's got it again. Ben Bell, that one's tipped off the stick there of Alan Ryder. Caleb Craven now, waiting for some options. Craven ahead for Harnan. Harnan working 1-on-3. He's able to get that pass to Ryan Craven, and now both Craven brothers enter the offensive zone. Caleb trying to do a little bit too much there, and it's another 2-on-1. This time it's Cranston. Cranston with a shot, another save by Adams. Rebound was there for Ryder, and Adams came up with another stop. 2-on-1s for Millersville to start this second period. No dice. Michael Schreibman now gets it out of the zone for the Terps. Kai Dunnigan's going to be the first one there, but Schreibman's coming in hot. In neutral, it's Ryan Craven playing it back for Sean Amon, trying to slow down this pace. Ben Bell behind his own net, around the boards, loses it for a moment. Harnan keeping on some pressure for Maryland. Can't get it though. Now Duchesne has it in neutral. Duchesne ahead for Harnan. Harnan to the far side. Shot. Pad save. Bell. Rebound. Grant Warner sent it just high. Grant Warner with the puck again. Sends it towards the net. But it's taken away by Bell. Bell clears it through neutral. Around the board. Sean Amon will be the first one there. Caden Vogel can't handle that one, and now Doherty's got it for the Terps. At the point, that one is barely kept in by Zach Slaybaugh. Slaybaugh sends it through the crease. This is Jacob Schindler with it for Millersville. At the point, that's Connor Rysick who kept it in. Out in front, looking for Justin Corelli. He couldn't pull the trigger. Far point, Jonah Bird. Across, Corelli off the post. Already blown dead. And I believe the net came off is what that whistle was for. Yes, they're putting it back now. Justin Corelli with a wide open one-timer. He rang it off the iron, but the play was blown dead anyway.
Frustrating for Millersville again. You saw a bit of ref trouble for them last night. I'm thinking of an instance where refs whistled a play dead, thinking that puck was covered, and really eliminated a pretty crucial scoring chance for them.
Yeah, that was a really quick whistle from the refs there. That net must have come off by like a millimeter. It really looked like it was still in a perfectly fine place.
Maybe helps them feel a little better. Puck did not go in.
It didn't go in anyway, so it didn't end up mattering.
No, but a good shot again, just beating that high post there from Patty Adams.
Millersville's fourth line getting some offense going here. They've earned the trust of the coaching staff as Corelli takes that face off again. Eli Petter tried to get it out. Now Slaybaugh works one-on-one against Haran. Big defensive block there from number 27 in black. Corelli trying to feed the front for Slaybaugh again. He couldn't pull the trigger, and Patty Adams covers up that little muffled shot. 12:27 to play here in the second. Still tied 1-1. Millersville getting some pressure on recently. Terps will switch to their third line. Cam Haran taking this face-off against Aiton Stromberg. Haran wins it, and Petter will start a breakout. Hudrin into neutral, trying to hit James' body. Can't quite get there, and now Hudrin's got it again. Hudrin's got to wait for Body to get back on side. Now Hudrin into the offensive zone. That shot's blocked by Martin. Far side, Haran sends it around the boards. Eli Petter's waiting for it at the point, but it won't get to him. Eli Petter now in neutral. Dumps it back in. Jake Petticone, first one there for Millersville. Loses it to Cam Horan. O'Connell working with Thor Martin. Martin behind his own net, facing some pressure from Jack Hudrin. Martin still pressured there at the blue line, barely kept in for the moment by Horan, and now it's taken out by Millersville. Good check there from Eli Petter. Petter loses that one. Now around the boards, Blake Warner's got it for the Terps. Warner trying to get it over to Horan. Horan taken down. No arm up from the official there. We play on. Jake Petticone, stretch pass through neutral. Heard some loud sounds behind the play, but nothing there either. Now it's Aiden Stromberg. Stromberg trying to set up something for Millersville, looking across for Waters, intercepted by Pilkington. Warner gets it into neutral, and now Chase Wilson, one-on-one. Wilson to the far side, left it for Pilkington. He wasn't ready for that pass. Pilkington now at the point. Across to Rakowskis. Rakowskis near side, shot tipped wide by Chase Wilson. Behind the net, it's Caleb Craven. Craven to the point for Rakowskis. Rakowskis down to Pilkington. Pilkington straight away. Now down low, it's Craven with a shot. That one's blocked down in front. Thor Martin getting his body in front of that shot from Caleb Craven. Maryland still keeping on the pressure here. Pilkington couldn't handle that one, and Martin gets it out to center. Patrick Harnan playing it ahead for the Terps. Caleb Craven with some speed. Craven far side shot. Save made by Jack Bell. Millersville now in the middle of a long change. A good takeaway there from Ryan Craven. Craven with a shot. Another save. Bell. Rebound Harnan. That one's saved by Bell, and he will cover. Some younger Terps getting involved right there. Both Craven brothers making big plays. 10-15 to play here in the second. We're still tied at 1.
I mean, it just felt like Terps were filing in like clockwork there to get their rebounds. First with Caleb Craven, next with Ryan Craven, next with Patrick Harnan, both taking that same shot right at the chest of Bell. Couldn't cover until the last one, but some good looks there for the Terps.
Yep. Ryan Craven and Patrick Harnan both nearly beating Jack Bell there. Neither of them could get it by number 1 in white. Now, Jack Cranston with some speed the other way for Millersville. He'll take a shot. That one's muffled by Caden Vogel. Down low, this is Ryder. Ryder trying to get it out to the point. It's taken away by Harnan, and he'll try and spring Schreidman. No dice. In neutral, it's Ryan Craven working with Schreidman. Schreidman leaving for Amon. Down low, it's Ryan Craven. Craven to the point for Vogel. Vogel with a lot of space. Shot. That one tipped just wide by Harnan. Ryan Craven still dangerous. A little knuckle puck that Jack Bell couldn't see. Sailing high. At the point again, it's Sean Amon. Amon, long-range shot. That one's blocked by Ben Bell. Ben Bell trying to go the other way for Millersville. He's got numbers if he hurries. Ben Bell with some space shot. That one's blocked out of play by Amon. We get a whistle.
I wish Vogel there just kind of shot that puck maybe a split second sooner. It seems like he hesitated for a bit, maybe trying to find a lane to get that puck through, which kind of gave Bell and the rest of the defense time to effectively set up. Still some good looks, though, from the Terps, but now we see it go the other way here.
Yeah. As somebody who's played a little bit of defense, I can tell you that when you're in Caden Vogel's position there and you see all that open space, sometimes you just freeze. You're not used to having all that room right in front of you.
You're not supposed to shoot pucks like that. That's why you're a defenseman.
Brian Teskey now the other way for the Terps. Teskey working one-on-one against Jonah Bird. They'll check each other into the boards. Travis Duchesne ends up with the puck. Duchesne out in front. Warner looking for a shot, couldn't pull it. Eli Petter with a shot off the pad of Jack Bell. Brian Teskey keeps possession for the Terps. Down low, tipped in front by Duchesne. Another save from Bell. Warner, Teskey shot. Another one blocked down in front. That time it was Jonah Bird. Teskey keeps it in again. Brian Teskey, 3 keep-ins on this shift. This time Millersville gets it out, but only to neutral as Eli Petter skates it into the offensive zone. Petter checked hard into the boards there. Taken down by Jonah Bird. Eli Petter gets back up as Andre Serra plays this one deep. Colin Doherty now with it for the Terps. Leaves it for Warner. Out in front for Serra. Serra to the point for Craven. That pass just a little bit offline. Terps will have to reset. Caleb Craven dumping it down low. Travis Duchesne there for the Terps. Only for the moment, though, he had it. Now Cam Horan's got it. Horan with a sharp angle shot off the shoulder of Jack Bell. Kept in at the point by Caleb Craven. Craven on the far side. Leaves for Horan. Horan with a shot off the pad of Jack Bell. Millersville will clear, and this will be icing if it goes wide. No, right on Patty Adams, and the Marauders get a much-needed change. Andre Serra, big stretch pass for James Body. He tips it, no ice. Jack Hudrin onto the boards with Jonah Bird. Walt O'Connell takes it away for Millersville. O'Connell can't get it past Andre Serra. Serra plays it back into the offensive zone. Terps and Marauders battling right now. James Body keeping on some pressure against Thor Martin. Martin behind his own net. Couple of stop and goes. Can't get it out though. Jack Rakowskis again for the Terps. Now Jack Hudrin takes it away. Millersville not crisp passing at all. Jack Bell gets that one with the glove and he will squeeze. Millersville needs a big reset.
Definitely, and on the Terp side of things, I can tell that there are a lot of freshmen tonight who are hungry for their first goal of the season. Score sheet's looking pretty bare as Terps have had some either low-scoring wins or just total shutouts in general, so you have a lot of guys who are still kind of looking to build their stats up, and I'm seeing, as I said, freshmen specifically tonight.
Yep, Tommy Pilkington earlier this period nearly got his first goal as a Terp. He's got the puck now for Maryland to the point for Rakowskis. Rakowskis, long-range shot. That one's tipped by Chase Wilson and a save from Jack Bell. Blake Warner with it on the near circle, another save for Bell. Warner, big check there, and we're finally going to get a penalty. Blake Warner took down Thor Martin, and they're going to call it an elbow. First penalty of the night. Didn't look like much from our angle, but they're saying Blake Warner caught him with the elbow. And Millersville's headed to the power play.
I mean, Blake Warner, he's just so tall that a normal check for him is just kind of an elbow in the face regardless to if you're maybe a bit of a shorter player on the other end of it. Really like a Matt Rempe type of player. We saw something like that from Matt Rempe last season, remember, when he checked a guy and it was like as a Rangers fan, I see a lot of people say like, oh, Rempe called for elbows. Why isn't he not called for elbows? Well, because he's 6'9", and it's the same story for Blake Warner.
Blake Warner not quite as tall as Matt Rempe, but his elbow came up high in the mind of the officials there. Millersville now getting to work on the power play. Marauders went 0 for 6 with the man advantage yesterday in Lancaster. Eli Petter trying to kill some time off the clock, gets it for Teskey. Teskey will use the boards and clear this one the length of the ice. Jack Bell leaves it behind his net. This is Thor Martin for the Marauders. Martin, who just drew the penalty, waiting for some reinforcements. Good pressure there from Travis Duchesne, not giving him any room. Martin leaves it. Now this is Johnny Morgan. Morgan into the offensive zone for Millersville. He's stalled up by Petter, and now he goes into the boards with Teskey. Teskey working against Morgan. Squirts out to the point for Martin. Thor Martin now down to the circle. Martin below the goal line. Eli Petter's able to take this one, and he'll clear it again for the Terps. 1 minute gone on the elbow to Blake Warner. Good penalty killing from Maryland so far. Millersville struggling to set up their power play. Millersville starting to change their personnel on the ice. Jack Cranston with it for the Marauders. Ahead for Stromberg. Stromberg on the near circle shot. That one's blocked by Sean Amon. Harnon's got it for the Terps, and he will clear again. More time ticking off this clock. Down to 5:27 in the period and 36 seconds on the penalty. Alan Ryder into the offensive zone for Millersville. Ryder with a dangle, leaves it for Carey with a shot, save made by Adams. Caleb Craven takes it into the boards. Getting checked there by Aiden Carey. Craven still pinning it. Craven still keeping his body on that puck. And now it squirts out to Sean Amon. Amon will be able to backhand this one into neutral. 5 seconds left on the elbow to Warner. Sean Amon carrying it into the offensive zone. Big hooks there. Another slash and a backhander from Amon. Save. Rebound Doherty. Another stop. Warner's out of the box. Sean Amon very frustrated that there were no hooks or slashes on that opportunity.
Yeah, you saw frustration from both Amon and the Maryland bench, and we can even see our very hype fan section also getting a little angry. But yeah, definitely a different scene from last night, to my surprise, with Warner's penalty being the only one so far of the night compared to last night's,
Yeah, the penalty fest in Lancaster yesterday.
I don't even have an exact number because there were so many.
Blake Warner with it in the offensive zone for Wilson one-timer. That one's blocked down by Thor Martin. The other way, this is Zach Slaybaugh for the Marauders. Checked into the boards by Blake Warner. Warner will play it around the boards for Pilkington. Pilkington can't quite handle it. Shot from the point by Jake Petticone, gloved away by Patty Adams. 4.5 to play here in the second. We're still tied 1 apiece here at the Gardens Ice House.
Long range shot, no issue for Patty Adams, whereas Maryland, if they can maybe look for that coming in on their own end, Jack Bell's weakness we saw last night was those long-range shots, as one of our only 2 goals last night from Sean Amon. A seemingly innocent shot there from the blue line when he was coming in, and that just snuck right past Jack Bell. So if I was a Maryland player and I had the point open, I'd go for it.
I don't know if I can call it an innocent shot when Sean Amon was so confident after the game it was going in the whole time.
Check out our post-game interview last night on the Instagram if you want to see Sean Amon's
Warner for Pilkington. He couldn't get the shot off. Tommy Pilkington, he's all over this net front here. He's getting close to his first as a Terp. Pilkington to the point for Petter. Petter across to Teskey. Teskey across. Pilkington waits. Pilkington back to the point for Petter. Petter on the near side, long-range shot, blocked in front. Back to the point, it's Petter again. Down low, Harnan. Patrick Harnan takes it behind the Millersville net. Harnan out to Teskey. Teskey sends it back to Harnan. That one skips over his stick, and Jake Petticone's there for the Marauders, but he's facing some pressure. Into the boards, it's kept in at the point by Petter. Petter, knuckle puck, that one's tipped in front by Harnan. Another save for Jack Bell. Petter trying to keep this one in. He will with the glove. Ryan Craven with it for the Terps. Craven getting some pressure on the boards, leaves it for Harnan. Harnan behind the Millersville net again. Harnan tried to get it out to Schreibman. He couldn't connect on that pass, and Millersville clears the zone. Caden Vogel with it in neutral. Millersville will change up some of their personnel, but they've still got some tired skaters stuck on this ice. Schreibman leaves for Ryan Craven. 2:56 to play here in the second. Harnan at the goal line. Harnan back behind the net for Ryan Craven. To the point for Amon. He can't handle it at the blue line. Maryland goes back to center. Amon back into the offensive zone. He could catch Millersville in a change if they hurry. Harnan with a shot. Squeezed by Bell.
Good long-range shot that I was sort of talking about. Not sure if Patrick Harnan can hear me. Probably not. We're pretty high up. But, again, that's just kind of what I'm looking for, of what I think is going to beat by Jack Bell.
Yep, Patrick Harnan trying to imitate what Sean Amon did yesterday right there. Caught Millersville in the middle of a bad change. Patrick Harnan took full advantage of the open ice. Colin Doherty behind the Marauder net. To the point for Caleb Craven. Craven with a shot. That one goes wide. Duchesne trying to play it in front for Sarah. Nobody was home on that pass. Now everybody kind of avoiding that puck as it ends up in neutral. Caleb Craven back there for the Terps. Ahead for Duchesne. Duchesne for Doherty. Doherty with a shot. That one's blocked down by Jack Cranston. Back in front looking for Duchesne. He couldn't get a shot off there. Sarah with a shot from the circle. That one's still loose. Doherty, shot, score! Colin Doherty! He's got his first as a Terp. It's 2-1.
Just seeing that hesitation from Doherty after the shot, just watching him realize that puck went in, you could just see the pure excitement from his body language. Such an awesome moment for a great kid, and you can tell that everyone on the ice with him is just as excited. As I was saying earlier, you can tell that these freshmen are hungry tonight, and I'm so happy to see one of them get his first goal as a Terp. Congratulations to Colin Doherty.
Yep, Travis Duchesne immediately skating behind Jack Bell to grab that puck for Doherty. They've handed it to the Maryland coaching staff. They'll get that all wrapped up for him. A big moment for number 28 in black. Just caught Millersville in the middle of a scramble. Jack Bell was way out of position, and he snuck it by that blocker side. Travis Duchesne still dangerous for the Terps. Maryland keeping the pressure on here. A takeaway there by Doherty. Doherty into the offensive zone with Warner. Doherty looking for a second. That one whistles high. Grant Warner with the primary assist on that goal. So 2 freshmen teaming up on that one. Ben Bell behind the net leaves it for Kai Dunnigan. Dunnigan up for Ryder. Ryder can't get it past neutral. Caden Vogel's there for the Terps. Cam Horan dumps it into the zone where it's taken again by Kai Dunnigan. Dunnigan can't get it past Horan. Horan leaves for Hudrin. Hudrin across. Amon on the far circle with a shot. That one's blocked down in front. Hudrin with another shot. That one goes wide. Body's there for the Terps. James Body behind the net. Down to 1 minute in the second period. Vogel with a point shot. That one's tipped in front by Hudrin, and the rebound sitting there for Body. He couldn't get another shot on. Millersville extremely tired on this ice, trying to do anything they can to get out. And look out here, John Waters had some space for a moment, takes that shot just high. Cam Haran the other way for Maryland. Haran into the offensive zone, chips that one towards Jack Bell. He'll stick it into the corner. Hudrin there for the Terps, leaves it for James Body. Body to the point for Amon. Amon taking it low. Amon now behind the net. Amon waits. Sean Amon out in front. The only person there is Aiden Stromberg. Stromberg now, he's got a 2-on-1. If he hurries, that one barely onside. Stromberg with a shot there, blocked by Vogel. A second one blocked by Vogel. 5 seconds to go in this period. At the point, it's Jake Petticone. He's got one more shot if he takes it. Petticone will shoot it off the pad of Adams, and that's period number 2 in the books as Cam Haran getting physical in the corner in this last buzzer against Aiden Stromberg. Or sorry, that was Johnny Morgan. But it is 2-1 Maryland as we enter this second intermission.
Yeah, I mean, that end of the second there, you saw the most sustainable offensive progression from the Terps that we've seen all night, definitely. And Millersville was just very much so out of position that most of that time when they were in their own defensive zone and tired, as Andy was mentioning, went a while without changing. Have a lot of yelling in the fan section here, too.
A lot of yelling from these Maryland fans taunting Millersville as they vacate the ice for the intermission.
Yes, but that's it from me. So we'll see you guys in just a few minutes for puck drop for the third period.
Welcome back to this third period of play here on the Maryland Hockey Network. I'm Andy Parr, joined by Bailey Unchester. Right now, the Terps have a 2-1 lead over visiting Millersville. Colin Doherty picking up his first goal in the ACHA at the very end of period number 2 to give Maryland their current advantage.
Yeah, great to see that shot there from Colin Doherty, sneak past the net. We have a lot of freshmen to look out for tonight, guys. They are hungry. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another one of them on that score sheet.
Yep, as we were saying earlier, Tommy Pilkington came inches away from his first goal as a Terp a couple of times in that second period. Ultimately, Colin Doherty gets his first as a Terp. But many freshmen still looking for their first ones in the ACHA. Tommy Pilkington now with it for Maryland. Pilkington checked into the boards there and loses it. This is Alan Ryder trying to get it out for Millersville. Ahead, Walt O'Connell, 2-on-1 if he hurries. O'Connell, good stick there from Eli Petter. Takes him off the puck, and O'Connell falls into the boards. Now it's Ben Bell. Bell into the offensive zone for Millersville. Leaves for Stromberg, and that shot goes wide and out of play.
Sorry. Walt O'Connell was a big presence last night for Millersville. Maybe not necessarily in the hockey skill-wise, but definitely in the extracurricular-wise. He almost got ejected towards the end of the game there and was kind of taking down Maryland players left and right. So, again, a very physical guy to look out for. Yep.
O'Connell got into a scuffle with Maryland's Andrew Wallace at the end of that third period. At first we thought he was ejected, then the officials talked it over and ended up giving each of the two of them matching minors. But Walt O'Connell still took 3 penalties for Millersville yesterday, the team leader in the game. Jake Petticone with it in neutral, plays across for Thor Martin. That pass blocked by his own teammate. That was Wes Kopcho who prevented it from getting into his own offensive zone. And now Caleb Craven's got it for the Terps. Craven around the boards for his brother. Can't get it past the blue line for now. And now Maryland's got it through neutral. It's Harnan. Patrick Harnan working against his other number 17. Harnan towards the front of the net. Pad save, Jack Bell. Harnan upset that he had his face mask tipped up a little bit there. But we play on. Caleb Craven dumping it into the offensive zone for Schreibman. Schreibman can't handle it, and Millersville will clear again. Caleb Craven with it in his own end. Craven taken down there. No arm up from the official, and Zerko, instead of shooting it, takes a strange passing decision, and Jack Cranston rolls into the Maryland net, and he is down hard.
Yeah, we have both teams signaling for a trainer to come on the ice and see.
Grabbing at his left knee, Jack Cranston was going towards the cage and then fell down and rolled into Maryland's net, and he is not able to get up.
Do we have a trainer or?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Both teams immediately signaling to the bench.
I'm honestly shocked he's able to do that. He's not putting pressure on it, but he's able to like put himself on the ice. No, yours is called like
Well, folks, that was a very scary scene that we just saw. Jack Cranston was able to get up with some support from teammates and coaches, and he was taken off through the Zamboni doors. But one of those very scary non-contact injuries. We wish him all the best. That was hard to watch, and they spent a long time looking at him down on the ice, and very good to see him get back up, even though he needed some assistance.
Yeah, both teams really showing support for each other in that moment, kind of huddled around Cranston as everyone tried to evaluate him. So despite this chippy rivalry, just a beautiful moment of just kind of supporting each other in the end that we saw there. But again, best wishes, thoughts, and prayers to Cranston, and we'll see how the rest of this game goes from here.
Yeah, Millersville may be playing some inspired hockey now. 18-10 to play here in the third period. Into the offensive zone. Patrick Adams will cover it, and we have another Millersville player behind the net, stuck inside of it. That's Johnny Morgan. Morgan grabbing at his chest. Appears to be all right. Just a little shaken up.
Yeah, not sure what happened there specifically, but as Andy was saying, grabbing at the top of his chest, sort of by where his neck guard would be. I don't know what's going on by this. I mean, do you think it's maybe a little wet by the crease there that could be causing these players to slip?
We've seen the ice stop the puck a few times from being too wet. There might be something with the ice condition on this Maryland side of the ice that's forcing all these Millersville players to fall down in weird spots. We'll see if it continues to happen as this third period goes on. Kai Dunnigan dumps it in from neutral, and Brian Teskey's there for the Terps. Teskey only gets it as far as Ben Bell, but Travis Duchesne trying to take it the other way for Maryland. Duchesne keeping the pressure on Bell, and he sends a pass that's right to Brian Teskey as Teskey takes it into the offensive zone. Teskey working in the boards against Ben Bell. Now around the boards, Travis Duchesne's going to be the first one there. He leaves it for Warner. Warner out in front. Good glove save there from Bell on Colin Doherty. At the point, it's Eli Petter across to Teskey. Teskey down low around the boards, Grant Warner. Warner can't quite handle it for the moment. Now he's got it back. Down to Doherty. Doherty on the far side. Back to the point for Amon. Sean Amon sending it low for Grant Warner. Warner trying to wrap it again. Jack Bell's there with the pad. Amon with a long-range shot. That one is saved by Bell. And we get a whistle.
The pairing of Colin Doherty and Grant Warner has been looking spectacular tonight. I mean, we almost saw the second of the night for Colin Doherty, and then the third point in total for Warner, who would have gotten the assist on that shot if it had gone through.
Maryland switching up some line combinations now. Cam Horan taking that face off. Down low, this is Thor Martin for Millersville. Martin around the boards for Wanshop. Only gets it as far as neutral. Can't quite get it all the way around Caden Vogel. Sean Amon with it for the Terps, trying to get it the other way. It's poked in neutral, and James Body will have to go back into his own defensive zone. Now with it for Millersville, this is Thor Martin. Martin behind his own net, facing some pressure from Cam Haran. Martin just kind of clears it. Now this one's going the length of the ice. This will be icing on the Marauders. 16:24 to play here in the third. Millersville forced to keep their semi-fourth, semi-third line on the ice. They're in the middle of a change. Maryland keeps their fourth line out there against them. Cam Haran wins this face-off. At the point, Caleb Craven can't quite keep it in. Delayed offside on Maryland, now washed out. Jake Petticone back there for Millersville. Petticone sends it through neutral. This one's tipped by a Terp, though, so no ice. Caleb Craven in his own end. Craven using the boards to get it for Hudrin. Hudrin and Craven switch spots. Craven now trying to play it into the offensive zone. James Body finishes the job to dump it in for the Terps. Thor Martin on his own end. Tries to get it to the point where Sarah can't quite keep it in. Now Pilkington back for it for the Terps. Caleb Craven into the offensive zone. James Body a step ahead of that play, offside Maryland. Terps will finish up their line change now with this whistle. Millersville now with their full fourth line on the ice. Chase Wilson wins this face-off against Justin Corelli, but Millersville takes possession. Connor Razak into the offensive zone for the Marauders. Only one there is Eli Petter. Petter sending it around the boards for Pilkington. He can't handle it, and Millersville was dangerous for a moment. Now in front, Corelli muffled on that shot. Back in neutral, this is Jonah Bird. Delayed penalty on the Terps, and we've got an empty net. Schindler can't get that pass. Chase Wilson intercepts it to touch it up, but Maryland's going shorthanded for the second time this evening. Chase Wilson on his way to the box. Maryland's assistant captain called for a rough right there. Millersville 0 for 1 on the man advantage tonight. Maryland had some very good penalty killing, not letting the Marauders set anything up, and right back to work there. Patrick Harden wins that faceoff, and Teskey sends it around the boards. Back in his own end, this is Johnny Morgan for the Marauders. Morgan trying to get a breakout going with Thor Martin. Martin into the offensive zone, poke check there by Petter. But now in front, it's Morgan. Morgan, backhand score! Johnny Morgan split the Maryland defense and backhanded it around the pad of Patty Adams. We're tied at 2.
Out of all of the penalty kills Maryland has had over the past weekend, they have been 100% on all of them. This one went a little differently, especially after the newfound inspiration from Millersville after their fallen teammate, and just a beautiful play there, as Andy said, splitting the defense and just a nice little juggle with the puck there to put it right past Patrick Adams.
Yep, Millersville went 0 for 6 on the power play yesterday, started tonight 0 for 1. They finally make the Terps pay. And we are all square at 2 apiece. Back in his own end, Sean Amon trying to play it on the boards for Michael Schreibman. Schreibman can't handle it, and Millersville's got it back in the offensive zone. Back there for Maryland, it's Ryan Craven. Now into the offensive zone, it's Ryan Craven. Craven trying to play it towards the net. He hit it off the side of the cage. Harnon's got it for the Terps. Harnon across the ice to Rakowskis. Rakowskis back to Harnon. Harnon in the slot, score! Patrick Harnon, through my voice crack, gives Maryland a 3-2 lead.
Well, it's all right, Andy. Everyone develops at their own time. But for Patrick Harnon, he's been developing all night. He was waiting for that chance. I said earlier a few times that I wanted to see that puck get to him because I just think that his speed and his skating and just how he thinks about the game is going to be the key to getting one past Jack Bell, and I was right there as Patrick Harnan set it up right above that crease, got fed a beautiful pass, and was able to just sneak one right past Jack Bell on the upper corner of the net there.
And after the play, it seems like Ryan Craven took a penalty. Sean Amon trying to get an explanation from the officials here. The goal is still on the board. They're saying the goal counts. But after the puck went in off the shot from Harnan, they assessed a rough to Ryan Craven. So Millersville, who just struck on the power play to tie it right before Patrick Harnan gave the Terps the lead, has another opportunity on the man advantage. James Romps, new to the scoreboard, trying to figure out how to take the previous penalty off. Currently in-house, it reads 5-on-3, but we know up here that it's a 5-on-4. Sean Amon stalls that one up in neutral. Millersville trying to set up a power play here. This is Aiden Carey. Carey, that one barely kept in at the blue line, and now another bad pass, and they're out of the zone. Kai Dunnigan dumps it in from neutral. Sean Amon's going to be the first one there. Amon around the board slowly, stalled up for a moment by Zerko, and now it's kept in at the point by Ben Bell. Bell trying to play it in deep, taken away again by Amon. Amon gets it over the blue line. That's more time off the clock. And we have another whistle here. And we have a cross-check on Millersville behind the play. We're going to 4-on-4. Away from the puck, the trail official spotting a cross-check to even up the manpower.
We saw Millersville struggle with that same penalty last night. That was a really frustrating blow for them, and looks like they weren't able to, again, keep their emotions in check right here. So Maryland gets a 4-on-4 chance.
That is John Waters in the box for the Marauders. Taking that cross-check away from the play to snuff out Millersville's man advantage. Terps now playing 4-on-4. They've had a couple of 4-on-4 strikes this season. Brian Teskey working with Eli Petter. Teskey through neutral. Plays it across to Duchesne. Duchesne into the offensive zone. Takes a shot from the far circle. That one goes wide. Harnan now with it on the near side. Patrick Harnan, he's stripped of the puck, and look out here. Thord Martin has speed the other way. Martin, near side, trying to cut towards the net. Good defensive recovery from Harnan. Harnan now takes Martin into the boards. The two of them fight, and now it squirts out to the point where Jake Petticone can't keep it in. Petticone back in his own end. Up for Martin. Martin facing some light pressure from Harnan. Gets around him. Now Thor Martin into the offensive zone for Millersville on the far side. Martin taken into the boards by Petter. Two of them fight for the puck, and it ends up with Travis Duchesne. Duchesne to Harnan. Harnan gets checked there. Big hit from Aiden Stromberg, but Maryland maintains possession. Teskey tried to hit Petticone there. Good evasion by number 65 in white. As Patty Adams goes behind his net to play this one for Grant Warner. Warner doing a give and go with Colin Doherty. Warner now with some speed, working 1-on-2. Warner to the far side. Warner back to the front, pad saved by Bell. Back out at the point, it's kept in by Colin Doherty. Maryland now with a man advantage. Andrew Zerko in his own defensive zone plays it ahead for Jake Petticone, but he loses it to Warner. Warner shot, save made by Bell. He will squeeze. 11:42 to play here in the third. 21 seconds left on the cross check to John Waters.
They credited that last goal from Harnan, assist to Jack Rakowskis, who has he had his first point yet as a Terp?
I believe he has, but we can fact check that right now. If not, that would be another Terp recording his first point in a Maryland uniform. Jack Rakowskis and Patrick Harnan beautifully executing that give and go on Harnan's goal. Sean Amon at the point. Amon across again. Hudron with a shot. That one's blocked in front by Ben Bell. Bell will clear. 5 seconds left on this power play. That'll kill the rest of the time. Patty Adams behind the net for Sean Amon. And yes, Rakowskis had one assist already this season.
My apologies.
Into the offensive zone, Allen Ryder tries to play it ahead. He's working one-on-one against Eamon. Takes Eamon into the boards. Out in front, this one's taken away by Jack Rakowskis. Rakowskis, as Bailey just mentioned, picking up the assist on that Harnan tally. Dumps this one in. Body, checking Kai Dunnigan into the boards. Dunnigan will clear, although this one might be moving a little bit too slow for icing. No, it picked up some pace at the end. One of the officials yelling there, I believe Millersville was trying to sneak in a change on that icing. They've currently got 6 guys out there. They need to take one of them off. Number 22, Zach Slaybaugh, tried to get an extra change in there. Chase Wilson wins this face-off back for Caleb Craven. Craven down low to Warner. Back to Craven. Craven with a shot from the circle. That one's blocked by Ben Bell and out of play. Ben Bell, great in his own end, but getting a lot of block shots both yesterday and tonight.
Yeah, you can tell that that's really where he flourishes defensively, is right there in front of his brother Jack. I know that is his specialty there, just being just a big block guy, and that's why he is in this Millersville lineup every night. Chase
Wilson wins another face-off back for Blake Warner. Warner around the boards tried to get it to Pilkington, but it's intercepted by Jonah Bird for the moment. Now on the other side, this is Andre Serra. Around the boards, it's taken away by Kai Dunnigan. Dunnigan will play it into neutral, but Pilkington's there for the Terps. Pilkington trying to get back into the offensive zone on the far circle. Pilkington taking it low. Pilkington sends it around for Wilson. Wilson out to Warner on the near side. Warner knifing behind the goal. Warner back out in front. He was looking for Pilkington again. Couldn't get the pass off. Warner to the point for Craven. They play catch. Warner's got it on the near side. Backhand towards the net. Rebound. Chase Wilson. Bounced over his stick. Andre Serra with a shot from the point. That one goes wide of the cage. Jonah Bird trying to poke it out of his own defensive zone. He will, but Caleb Craven gets it pretty close into neutral, and he'll dump it right back in. Connor Razak behind the Millersville net trying to start a breakout for the Marauders. He will, as Justin Corelli launches that one from the blue line right at Patty Adams. Ryan Craven trying to get it the other way for the Terps. Stalled up for the moment by Jack Wanshop. And now Teskey's back there for Maryland. Brian Teskey waits behind his net. Gets Eli Petter. Petter ahead for Harnan. Harnan doesn't connect on that pass there, and now he's got the puck again. Patrick Harnan really motoring through neutral now. Harnan dumps it in. Ryan Craven will be the first one there as we had Harnan checking somebody into the Millersville bench. Harnan with a shot. That one barely squeaks through. Harnan back out in front. It's Ryan Craven with a shot from the point. Look out here. That's blocked by Johnny Morgan, and Maryland is going short-handed again. They're going to call Eli Petter for a slash. He stalled up a breakaway opportunity for Johnny Morgan. Good penalty to take right there. Or sorry, that was Ryan Craven who's getting called for the slash. Both of them on that play. But Millersville headed back to the power play with 8:53 to play here in the third. And hello from the chat, Andrew Rich.
Hello, Andrew. Good to see you again.
Millersville getting back to work on the power play. They've got one strike tonight. A shot right off the face-off there, and the rebound's in. One-timer from Johnny Morgan gets stopped by Patty Adams, but the rebound goes right to Allen Ryder. We're tied at 3.
Maryland defense, I know they're obviously limited in players right now, but caught sleeping a little bit at that time. Nobody there really covering that post, which is, again, as we were saying, is kind of where Patty Adams struggles kind of covering all angles of the goal when he commits to one side. So Millersville is able to tie this up 3-3.
Yep, the Terps getting a little bit sloppy with discipline here in the third period, and Millersville's making them pay. The Marauders with 2 power play strikes this frame. Now we're all tied back up at 3 with about 8.5 minutes to play here in the third. Long range shot there. That one nearly fooled Patty Adams. He had to get back into position with his glove. Now this is Aiden Carey. Carey with a shot. That one's blocked by Sean Amon. Warner off the glass. High stick here. If Millersville touches it next, they won't. Blake Warner plays it ahead. Thor Martin now in his own end. Martin Ahead for Kopcho. Kopcho hits it with his skate, so no ice here. Caden Vogel back there for the Terps. Vogel off the boards for Pilkington. Pilkington, dangerous pass there. Nearly a one-time opportunity for Morgan. And another one there for Aiden Stromberg.
And as we see more activity happening in Maryland's defensive zone, you can really kind of see just how dangerous this ice is back there. We still have a bit of a haze, a fog over this kind of back end near the boards. You can tell this ice is a little bit wetter than normal. You see a lot of guys slipping. You see a lot more snow kicking up from their skates when they stop. A lot of guys slipping, as we see there. So definitely something to watch out for here when you're committing to any hard skating in that zone.
Yeah, we've had a whole haze over the ice here at the Gardens Ice House all night tonight, and Warner with a sneaky shot right there. That one goes wide of the glove. Grant Warner still with it on the far side. Loses it to Kai Dunnigan. Dunnigan plays it around the boards for Ben Bell. Bell trying to get it out of his own end. Long pass here. Gets it across. That is Aiden Stromberg into the offensive zone for Millersville. That shot blocked by Petter. Petter with another block there, but look out here in front. That one goes just wide from Dunnigan. Rebound. O'Connell was there. Another one, Johnny Morgan. Stopped by Adams, and he'll cover. Flurry of chances in front there for the Marauders. Patty Adams had the answer. 7:21 to play in the third. We're still tied at 3.
Millersville picking up the pace late in this game. Would not be surprised if we saw this one go to another overtime chance, but we will see how this plays out as the Terps are prepared to take another defensive zone draw.
And they will win it with Grant Warner right there, but they can't get it out of the zone. Kept in there by Connor Razak as he plays it deep. Razak with another keep-in on the right side for the moment. Can't get it past Andre Serra. Serra will shove it into neutral. Justin Corelli from the red line sends it into the offensive zone for the Marauders. Caleb Craven taken into the boards. Leaves it for Serra. Serra loses it to Corelli in front. Another big save for Adams. Colin Doherty chipping this one out of the defensive zone. Jonah Bird's back there for Millersville. Plays it ahead for Razak. Razak trying to get it through neutral. Andre Serra, first one there for the Terps. Kept in at the point by Razak as Serra was trying to clear, but that pass makes Jonah Bird go back into neutral. And Caleb Craven's back there for Maryland again. Craven. Through center. Across to Hudrin. Hudrin on the near circle. Leaves for Craven. Craven cruising down low. Craven with another pass back to Hudrin. He couldn't get the shot off. Craven now behind the net. Cross check from behind by Aiden Carey. Maryland's headed to a power play here. Aiden Carey cross-checking Caleb Craven from behind. And the Terps get another man advantage with 6:14 to play here in the third.
You could see Craven kind of baiting that penalty, almost stalling a bit by the boards, trying to see what Millersville's defensive answer would be, and he got exactly what he wanted there with just a little too hard of a cross-check to put Maryland, as Andy said, on the man advantage. They were able to get one in on the power play earlier, right?
No, it was not on the power play.
Yesterday.
It was just after the power play expired was Harnon's goal today.
Ah, yes.
And this is the first time we get a true power play set up, not an abbreviated one for the Terps. Ryan Teskey at the point. Down to the circle for Petter. Petter inside for Duchesne, couldn't get the shot off. Back to the point, it's Teskey. Teskey to Craven on the far circle. Craven with a shot, that one goes high. Petter keeps it in on the near side. Petter checked into the boards by Walt O'Connell. Ben Bell will try to clear, but Brian Teskey keeps it in. Teskey, another great keep in there. And now Ben Bell gets it out for the Marauders. They were looking for a stretch pass. Aiden Stromberg was fresh off the bench. He would have had a breakaway. Caleb Craven dangling through neutral. Shot from Sarah. Score! Caleb Craven! Just like Sean Amon yesterday, an innocent shot cruising in on the power play. 4-3 Maryland.
Caleb Craven was waiting for that one. It has been too long since we have seen Craven's name on the goal sheet. And I hope that this will just be such a big and much-needed reset for him. You know that he was just waiting for that one, and I expect him to just pick it up from there. Playing, even though his brother wasn't on the ice at the time, you know that means a lot to him to just have him on the bench. And I hope, again, like I said, this will be a good new start for Caleb Craven as the season goes on.
Terps now with a lead with 5.5 to play in the third. Caleb Craven mimicking what Sean Amon did on the power play yesterday. Before Maryland sets up all their looks, he just takes a shot from the middle goes high over the blocker of Jack Bell. Seems to be his weakness, those seemingly low-danger, long-range shots from defensemen. Jack Bell fooled twice in back-to-back days. Unassisted tally for Caleb Craven. He did that one all himself. Chase Wilson wins this face-off for Blake Warner. Warner back to Wilson with a shot. Good block there from Kai Dunnigan. Another shot there from Jack Rakowskis is blocked again. Alan Ryder trying to get it through neutral, and now this is Wes Kopcho for the Marauders. Kopcho stalled up there by Rakowskis. Rakowskis gaining speed around his own net. Rakowskis ahead for Warner. Warner dumps it in from neutral. Ryan Craven will pressure Ben Bell in the corner. Now this is Kai Dunnigan for Millersville. Dunnigan up ahead for Ryder. Now into the offensive zone. This is Aiden Stromberg. Stromberg loses it to the other 18, Brian Teske. Teske plays this one slowly, and that bounces over the stick of Rasak. Look out here, Michael Schreibman nearly had Jack Bell beat. That one bounced over the stick of Connor Razak, and he got a little bit lazy in his defensive zone, not really catching up to that puck. Jack Bell bailed him out. Eli Petter now behind his own net. Petter taking some pressure from Aiden Carey. The two of them are fighting on the boards. Still battling for the puck. It squirts out to Ryan Craven. Craven around the side for Harnan. Harnan taking it through neutral. Harnan carries the red line. Schreibman offside here. Harnan will have to wait. Schreibman still offside. Dumps it in. Now they're onside. Michael Schreibman took a little bit of time to get back onside there, but Maryland still enters the offensive zone. Now with it for Millersville. This is Alan Ryder at his own blue line. Ryder across to Razak. Razak off the boards for Zerko. He can't handle that pass. And Caleb Craven's got it for Maryland. Ahead for Doherty. Doherty, who's already got one tonight. Drop pass. Warner wasn't in the right spot. Grant Warner checked there. And now the other way for Millersville. That one chipped into the offensive zone by Zerko. In the boards, squirts out to Andre Serra behind his own net, but he blew a tire. Able to still push it ahead to Colin Doherty, who plays it back for Grant Warner. Grant Warner has no problem with icing this puck. Maryland needs a bit of a breather. 2:56 to play here in the third period.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, behind that net specifically, right behind Patrick Adams, seems to be the most slippery spot we have tonight as this fog sort of clears up, but that's where you're seeing a lot of guys lose their footing, as we saw with Andre Serra right there.
Yep, Andre Serra blowing a tire, still had enough handle on that puck to play it for Colin Doherty. Ultimately, it ends up on the stick of Grant Warner, and Maryland chooses to ice the puck, and Millersville's going to call their timeout right here. Big opportunity for Millersville with this offensive zone draw, so they will have the coaches draw up a play. But the flip side of this is, since they called the timeout, if Maryland wants, they can change up their personnel after the icing.
Yes, and we should also start keeping an eye out on Jack Bell if this score remains 4-3 for the next few minutes. We are just under 3 minutes to play here in our third and final period, and Millersville pulled Jack Bell during the same situation with around 45 seconds left of the game last night. So
yep, Maryland was keeping the pressure on at the end of that third period. They did not let Millersville cleanly enter the offensive zone. Marauders couldn't pull their goalie until there was about 45 seconds left in the third.
So we'll see if they maybe look to move a little bit quicker this time, pulling earlier than you would expect. So like I said, just under 3 minutes to play.
Officials telling both benches that the timeout is over. Maryland keeping mostly the same five out there. Travis Duchesne now joins the fold on the ice. Grant Warner will take this face-off against O'Connell, and he wins it. Back for Craven. Craven around the boards. It's kept in at the point by Jake Petticone. Petticone trying to play it in deep, but there are two Terps there. Petticone gets it back again. Doherty with a big shot block. Now ahead for Duchesne. Duchesne trying to get around Petticone, and he will. Duchesne's got in neutral. He's got numbers with Grant Warner. Duchesne for Doherty. Doherty with a shot. That one goes just high. Walt O'Connell now the other way for Millersville. Plays it ahead for Petticone. Now entering the offensive zone, that is Aiden Stromberg. Stromberg hit hard there by Andre Serra. Travis Duchesne can't quite handle that pass, and it's kept in at the point by Thor Martin. Martin now leaves it for Johnny Morgan. Morgan pressured there by Duchesne. Down low, this is Zerko working against Grant Warner. Caleb Craven joins the party, and he plays it around the boards for Warner. Warner at the empty net, he hits it off the post. Just as Jack Bell was leaving the ice, Grant Warner, looking for his second of the night, rocketed that one off the iron from his own red line.
That was about to be some unfortunate timing there from when Millersville decided to pull Jack Bell. And as I said, earlier than you would typically expect, we are at 2:01 left to play here in the third period. Jack Bell is still out of his net. Millersville goes 6-on-5. Both benches getting very excited.
Getting real loud here in the Gardens Ice House as this is do or die time for the Marauders. Thor Martin can't hold the blue line there. Millersville's back in neutral. Martin dumps it in around the boards behind Patty Adams. Alan Ryder checked into the boards by Caleb Craven there. Andre Serra around the wall. It'll be another icing on Maryland. Only about 20 seconds tick off the clock there. Maryland still has their timeout in their back pocket should they choose to use it, and it looks like they will. Coach Joe Carter calling his timeout with 1:38 to play here in the third. Looks like they're defaulting to Joe Carter and assistant coach John Wheatman to draw up this all-important defensive zone face-off for the Terps. Millersville getting one more look at their offensive zone draw that they discussed before. .138 to play here in the third period. Maryland's going to go with their fourth line. Chase Wilson, who's been excellent at the face-off dot tonight, going to take this draw for the Terps. Millersville puts their 6 top shooters out there. The one who's going to be taking the face-off is Walt O'Connell. Wilson wins it, back for Petter. Petter uses the boards and it's in neutral. Millersville will be forced to reset again. That one's taken away by Teskey with a shot. That one's blocked by Walt O'Connell, but this will kill more time. Back in his own end, this is Kai Dunnigan. Dunnigan waiting for the passes to open up. Sends it ahead for Morgan. Johnny Morgan pressured there by Chase Wilson. Now he'll split the Terps defense for a moment. Teskey, bullseye! Brian Teskey nails the empty net. 5-3 Terps.
Terps have been utilizing those long-range shots all weekend. This one a little bit different as Brian Teskey, perfect accuracy, shoots that one in from his own blue line. Terps are up 5-3, and it looks like we are going to get a nice clean sweep on the weekend if they can keep this up for 1 more minute and 14 more seconds.
Brian Teskey, the man who scored the 9-8 OT winner against these Millersville Marauders on this ice sheet last year, may have just hit him with the dagger on that empty net snipe. As Bailey said, from his own blue line, he intercepted a pass and then launched it right at the empty cage. Maryland now with a 2-goal lead and 1 minute to play here in the third period. Justin Corelli sending it towards the net. Aiden Stromberg couldn't take that shot. Stromberg has it down low, back for Corelli. Corelli, that one's blocked again. Millersville going empty net again. Blake Warner diving for it, can't get the shot off. Down to 40 seconds to play here in the third period. Millersville, this is their last gasp. Justin Corelli with a long-range shot saved there by Adams, and he'll cover. 33.2 to play here in the third period. Terps now with a 2-goal lead. Have to survive 33 more seconds. This face-off here won by the Marauders. Walt O'Connell will take the shot from the near circle. That's a pad save for Adams. Around the boards, Grant Warner plays it. Now down low, it's Serra. Serra will send it the other way for Doherty. Doherty gets it into neutral. 20 seconds left. Travis Duchesne, he sees an empty net, but Ben Bell's there first. Ben Bell Stop and go move. Bell sending it ahead. This is going to be no ice here as Andre Serra tipped it in neutral. Caleb Craven up for Duchesne. Duchesne trying to get it out. Ben Bell can't handle it at the blue line. 3, 2, 1. Play love story in Laurel. Terps win 5-3.
As I said just a few seconds ago, we have a nice clean sweep on the weekend. 2 very hard-fought victories for Maryland against the Millersville Marauders, a team who brings every single time a lot more than you expect, but still, in the end, no match for the Maryland Terrapins, who come up with a 5-3 victory. Very good overall win there for Maryland tonight.
Yep, big team effort for the Terps. You had 2 freshmen getting goals, one of them the first UMD goal for Colin Doherty. Caleb Craven ultimately playing hero on that late power play snipe, and Brian Teskey finishing it off with the dagger on that empty netter. Final score here from Laurel, 5-3 Terps. For everyone here at the Maryland Hockey Network, on camera tonight we had Brendan Russell shadowing our broadcast. On color, Bailey Unchester. My name is Andy Parr. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and be sure to join us next week when the Terps have a home-and-home against Rowan.